Today's podcast episode is sponsored by
Michael and Michelle Lassen, First State Bank Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender.
Visit us on our website at yourlakeloan.com. We want to be your home loan professionals, your lake lenders.
Listeners, thanks for tuning in for more of Season 6 with our Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast, a podcast created to help you grow both personally and professionally, to thrive with clear goals and visions, and to inspire. So whether you're a full-time resident here at the lake, a visitor, or hope to be either in the future, we know you're going to love this episode as much as we do. So today on the show, I'm super excited to highlight a new 501c3. Their mission is to strengthen the county's roots by growing their agricultural community opportunities. So formed in the fall in 2001, this organization is trying to make some big waves here. And here to talk more about it and share about what's coming up is my new friends, or my good friends, Miss KC Cloke and Mr. Ryan Shoffner. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to hear more about this project because I'm a huge supporter.
Wonderful. We need
Thank
it.
you. Yes, we're super excited to be on the show, and first time I've done one of these, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we are super excited to let you guys know what we are doing and hopefully gain a little traction with the community. And it's just something we need. So
absolutely. So guys, I just want to start, like I do every show, with you just giving a quick intro to who you are and maybe where you found the passion to do what you do. So Ryan, let's start with you.
Well, I grew up, it was late elementary school, where my parents actually woke me up and said, hey, we're going to a cow sale today. We had bought some land, and it was pretty much all uphill from there. And so anyway, it's really turned into a big passion of mine. I went to college for animal science, worked with that degree a little bit out of college. Jason had some good conversations with him, and we decided we wanted to be back in this great community that we love. I brought my wife here and drug her into everything that we do here, and started getting into real estate. But that actually, I didn't know it at the time, would be a great opportunity for me to use just the people I know in the community to be able to establish some of these things that I feel that our youth deserve. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's really what got me into, growing up in the industry, seeing the opportunities that it provided. Even though, we have a farm, but it's not what I do full time or anything. So, but seeing the opportunities that provided me growing up, I think our kids deserve the same opportunities. And, just being able to provide that for them is where my passion really started with it.
I love it. Casey, what about you?
I was complete opposite. I grew up in the city. So.
Yeah, me too, girl. Me too.
I'm a city slicker, so a little background with me. I've been in the Chamber of Commerce industry for 8 years now. I'm the director right now currently for the Camdenton Area Chamber of Commerce. I love it. A lot of great resources, a lot of great connections, and all about community growth. So our co-chairs of our organization, Brittany Meads and Laura Burns. Brittany I knew personally. Mm-hmm. So how I got involved, she came to my office late in 21 when she had this idea. And I had already attended about 6 months prior to that. Brittany is very heavily involved in the 4-H club. In fact, she helped start the new Lazy Lopers 4-H group. Well, I say new, but it's been around for a couple of years now. But she's really grown that program, and came from when she grew up. She was heavily involved in 4-H, and understood the various programs that are available that we just don't currently have here.
Right.
And so she hosted an open house night, like I said, that same year in 21, that she encouraged me to bring my daughter to. I have a 10-year-old daughter in the school district, Camdenton School District. And with that, again, we live in the town. We don't have a farm. I got 2 dogs. As close to animals as I get. And but we went to this event, and I told Brittany, I was like, I'll come to support you, but we don't have farm. My daughter, we don't know anything about livestock. And she's like, it's not just about livestock. And so we walked into this open house, and I think she highlighted 20 programs. And again, there's so many more 4-H programs. There was rocket launching, robotics, which that is right up my daughter's alley.
Right.
So I think we left that evening with her signing up, expressing interest for like 6 different programs that were all non-livestock related. And so that really got my attention. I was like, wow, I didn't know this existed. And Brittany reminded me that it can exist if we have the support backing it, if we have the volunteers to get the programs going as the instructors and have the support from the community. And so that was, like I said, a few months later after that open house, she came to my office. She said, okay, I really am serious about growing 4-H. I'm really serious about us having a county fair. You know, I'm tired that our youth have to travel outside of our county to show their livestock, that show their hard work. She said, we need a facility. And I said, well, I'm definitely, any time that we can enhance what we can offer to our youth, I mean, that's our future.
Right.
Yeah, let's look into it. And agriculture, I think, is something that people don't realize is very heavy, even in Camden County. Everybody
Absolutely.
thinks we're just tourism, that we're just tourists, and that is not the case.
No.
And you go outside of the outskirts of our cities within this county, you'll see nothing but ag. And
Yeah.
so why wouldn't we want to support that and grow that? That's, in fact, in my mind, that's the only thing you could really count on down the road.
Absolutely.
You need farmers. So.
Yeah, me and Ryan were talking about that previously. You know, I was telling him, you know, my childhood growing up in Gardner, Kansas, which is like right outside of Kansas City, we had a huge fair. I mean, you're talking like massive fair, massive 4-H. We even had, you know, a big track for like demolition derbies and all kinds of things.
Yes.
And that was like my childhood version of a fair. So that when I came here and I saw Dogwood, not taking anything away from Dogwood, but knowing how much ag we had here, I was really surprised to not see that.
There's nothing like.
So I guess my next question is, why do you believe that Camden County like needs the county fair or fairgrounds, and what benefit do you think it would have on the community?
I mean, well, so first of all, I have since then I have attended the Laclede County Fair in Lebanon. That's our neighboring county. And it's really funny because when you go up there during that week of their county fair, you're going to see about 60% of our community in their backyard because we don't have anything. So that, first of all, validated for me. Like, when I ran into so many people I knew, just my nephew was showing his hog, and we were up there for 2 nights that week, and I saw so many people, and it was like, this really validated. It's like, this is our community having to travel up here, you know, to be involved in this. And, you know, selfishly as well, I mean, I'm going to put my chamber hat back on, too. You mentioned the Dogwood Festival. I mean, that is we're 72 years strong of hosting this event, and this is a huge event, but there is a lot more opportunity. And I know I get feedback from the community. We currently hold it on the middle school parking lot. There's nothing wrong with that. It's been there for a long time. I mean, there's been various parts of the community that we've held that. But really, you know, the comments I get, and the parking is horrible. There's not enough carnival rides, not enough space. And I do agree. And so something like this, having this facility where, yeah, it's going to be completely jam-packed with activities for a week-long county fair, but we know that it's not going to sit empty the rest of the year either. There's so many other opportunities
that you could use that space for.
Exactly. And so in my mind, it was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So when they approached me saying, hey, we'd love for you to be involved in our board, and you know, you've got the connections, you've got relationships, you can help. And I said, well, I don't know anything about farming or ag or anything. That's okay. You don't
Well, and that's exactly where I want to bring you in, Ryan, is, you know, talk to me about just overall agriculture here and why it's important, because you're the ag guy. So
Well, I mean, our kids absolutely deserve this. Our community absolutely deserves this. The county fair as a whole will bring a community together. But really, our kids right now, they have to travel. You know, and it doesn't sound far. I mean, I had to run to Lebanon yesterday.
Right.
But still, I mean, you know, that's a couple hours out of your day just driving there and back and making one stop. So, you know, add having to tend to livestock, you know, multiple times a day into that, you have to stay there. And it becomes almost a burden, you know, to have to travel for some of these families. You know, I mean, time is a big issue for a lot of people now. You know, if they're showing livestock, they may have their own farms that they need to tend to. So providing some of these kids that may not have the opportunity to travel to some of these other places, to have something here at home would absolutely be crucial.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, it's not, like KC said, it's not just livestock.
Right.
You know, I mean, there are so many different programs that some of these other fairs don't have the space to actually host. So if we can actually provide something for our youth and keep them here, that would be, I'm not saying they can't go to any other fairs, and we're not trying to take away from any other fairs. We actually are thinking of ways that we wouldn't even really try and compete with them. We would add an addition to.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Just provide the kids more opportunities. So tying that back into the agricultural side, as I touched on earlier, it provided me so many opportunities. Even though that's not where I took my full-time career, it made me who I am today.
Right.
It taught me, you have responsibilities, whether you're sick or tired, it doesn't matter. You still have things you have to take care of. I was actually listening to another podcast that was agricultural cattle business based, one podcast that I listened to, and it was tied into more of the end product, where they had a lot of the food service providers, and those food service providers will go and seek out, even though that they're not really looking for somebody that has to know everything about animal science.
Right.
They're going to seek out these agricultural students because they know work, they know exactly how to present themselves. They're trainable. They have an eager willingness to learn, and they've been involved with these programs that require teamwork and collaboration and all of that stuff. So that was kind of one of the challenges they talked about. They said, hey, we're grooming these kids to come back into the agriculture industry, and everybody's stealing our kids from us because they are actually the cream of the crop. A lot of people wouldn't associate that, but it is true. They develop so many leadership skills through these programs.
I agree with that. And one thing that I'm excited about that we were kind of touching on earlier too is, it, to me, like I said, it's no different than kind of the trade industry. And when you're able to bring something like that to life, then you have more interest. You see more kids getting involved because, in my opinion, we don't have a lot of opportunities, especially like when me and you were in school compared to what it is now. And to have those opportunities come back, I think would be really beneficial for kids and the youth and just the overall community, being involved.
I agree.
So what are some key features that you envision for the fairgrounds, and how do you plan to incorporate that into like the design? Like, where are you seeing this, location wise, or what does it look like? What kind of activities?
So you go ahead and touch on the land, because I think that's first and foremost the most important.
Okay, so we have a actually large tract of land under contract right now out on South 5. It's right off the highway. The topography is nice. Selecting land in Camden County for your usage can be a challenge because some of the topography might work, but the location might not. You might not be able to get the carnival rides into some of these locations. So
you want it close to the school too, like proximity of schools. How much dirt do we have to move to accommodate? There was a lot.
That was the ultimate challenge. So when we found this, we knew that it would be very ideal for us. You're never going to pick the location that's perfect for everybody, but we felt that this accommodated most of the people and would be able to accommodate most of the vendors and attractions that would accompany the county fair.
Okay.
So, you don't want a safety issue being able to, bringing, any sort of equipment or livestock or anything into a fair.
Right.
So, if you think about that, you have pulling tractors, it's a lot of trucks and trailers.
Yeah.
So egress is a big thing. So that was one of the main things we looked at. And then, we touched on the topography. This has a little bit of everything we're looking for to be able to lay this out. And things that we looked at were, how much noise is it going to contribute to the neighboring communities? Well, there's a location at this property that would very much deaden the noise of things like tractor and truck pulling.
Oh, okay.
But it also has nice areas for parking, has nice areas for carnival. It has nice areas for some of the facilities that we need to build, and don't get me wrong, there will be a lot of them that we need, which we are working on in phases. It's not, Rome wasn't built in a day. This probably will not be either, but we'll focus on the heavy hitting things that we need first, and then we'll grow to some of the things that would be just provide even additional opportunities or be able to build off.
Great add-ons, yeah. Our phase one really consists of obviously land acquisition and dealing with some infrastructure. The lot that we are under contract right now with already has water and electric, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a huge expense right there.
Right.
But our phase one not only encompasses the land acquisition, but we also want to build the exhibition hall, a pulling track, an outdoor arena, and then the livestock barns and show arena. And so that, if we were able to complete our phase one, there's so much we can do. And there are add-ons that we have discussed, and that's part of our plan, future plans of being able to host rodeos. I mean, believe it or not, Camden County has some incredible history tied to it with the rodeo family, with the rodeo route. I mean, gosh, back in the 50s, I mean, we had celebrities coming to the Ozarks, to participate. And so we feel like we can bring that back to that rich heritage history. But again, have our facility accommodate activities that are already happening that have, it's now going to offer an opportunity to grow. And then, I mean, really what got us all, I think, on the board jumping right in. It's not about, this would be a great new location for Dogwood Festival or our home business in Lake Living Expo. We won't have to take it almost out of Camden County to host it. The Camdenton Chamber can host it in Camdenton. This would be great. But it's really, look at all these opportunities that our youth will now be offered, like that you can grow. And we've got a lot of, you look at kiddos that maybe they live in the city limits or maybe where their home is, there's POAs or HOAs that have ordinances against, livestock. They don't have anywhere but to have that interest. This facility having these livestock barns, these kiddos can be a part of that agricultural family, whether their family, their individual families are or not. They can still get heavily involved through their school and supported through our efforts with our facilities.
I love that. I think about outside organizations too, even smaller businesses too, having the opportunity to be a part of that, to, sponsor that or, get other animals, in there, just all kinds of things. So that's really, really interesting. How do you plan to kind of involve the local youth though in the county fair, and what opportunities will they kind of have to showcase like their achievements or what they have been doing?
Sure. Well, I think one of the things we can address, and we hadn't touched on yet, is who the other individuals are on our board. So, Brittany Meads, I mentioned her, she's the co-chair, heavily involved in 4-H. She manages one of the bigger 4-H clubs here in Camden County. I think one of the only ones, actually. There's plans to grow it. Right. And then the other co-chair is Laura Burns, who has grown up here, has been heavily involved in the rodeo, in the FFA. Her children have been through that. Then we've got Ryan, who's heavily involved. Fozzie Simon is the only other non-ag person with me, on the board. But it's great to have legal counsel. So, of course, we're not going to deny that. It's great to have a lawyer on your board. And then we've got Josh Hoops, Toops, sorry.
Josh Toops, he's the Camdenton Agricultural Advisor.
Oh, okay.
So there's our direct connection to the kiddos. He has been very instrumental on what opportunities we could do or bring to our facility to enhance what they're offering at this school.
Okay. And he sees the need. I mean, there is a natural interest for these kids that, they want to be able to, it might not be showing livestock. It might be something along the lines of robotics or cake decorating.
That's another big one.
Or anything like that. I mean, if you can kind of turn into a competition, these kids have a natural interest to gravitate towards that, which is great. I mean, there needs to be a place where they can showcase some of this stuff. So I think it's not necessarily, I don't think the kids, I think there's two main things that's keeping some of the kids from having these opportunities. One, they don't, they either don't have the money, they don't have facilities, they don't have anything, a place where they can go with these, or they don't have the assistance that the community could and should be providing them to help them. It's not, it's an issue for the community to help grow their youth, to be able to provide them with these opportunities. So if we can provide facilities and assistance with that, I think that would just pull a lot of kids in.
I do too.
I can do this.
Yeah.
This is actually something, it's not, putting, all the stress on me or my parents or a financial situation or things like that. It's actually just saying, hey, we can take a lot of that pressure off and provide some of this.
Well, and I think about like my own kids with that particular comment too, because like I have 4 kids all the time that would be like, I'll volunteer. I'll go help with, horses or just, anything. I mean, even having like an aspect where they could just go and help somebody is huge. I know that they would do that. Right. So
it really is a community effort. I mean, it truly is. I mean, it's, all small town politics aside, a county fair, will actually bring the whole community together.
The pride. So, not that we don't already have pride, but it would just give us so much additional opportunities to boast about our community.
Because people really will put their differences aside because they know it's for the kids.
Yeah, I agree.
It's and for the betterment of the community. It's truly.
I'm super excited about it.
Can can do when they come together.
Yeah.
So,
That's it.
Yeah.
And we haven't even touched on like the agritourism. That's another keyword that a lot of people like to use because not everyone has youth in our community. So
Right.
you gotta figure out though what's in it for you. Well, whether let's say you have a business here and it's not even let's say you have a gas station or some form of retail or hotel even. What we're looking to produce on this facility or what we're looking to bring in is going to put heads in beds. It's going to grow our economy. I mean, the economic impact that this facility will do for our community is huge.
I agree.
And it's not a traditional route that we've taken before, which in my mind is even more exciting because it's not like, okay, we're doing this because we always do this. We have so many of these endeavors already, but
Right.
this is opening up a brand new door that we haven't had open since the 60s.
Right.
And there is still an interest. So, people think the rodeo left the county because the rodeo kind of died out. I can tell you that. I'm learning as I sit on this board and hear stories of, our fellow board members and how far they travel for their kiddos, to participate or even just to go watch themselves. There's a lot of money into it. There is. There's a lot of potential to grow just a whole new tourism aspect for our community.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So a couple more questions, but what lessons have you guys learned from other successful county fairs or fairgrounds, and how do you kind of plan to incorporate some of that into this one?
One of the main things we talk about a lot is space. You see a lot
Right.
of these, they might have the space for things, but then they don't have parking. Parking can be a nightmare at some of these things. So really what we looked at, and there were some opportunities that we kind of shied away from because we knew long term it probably would not, they would, those challenges just would hit us in the face eventually.
Right.
For this one, we actually have room to grow.
Yeah.
So that was a main draw for us to choose this location. Now, don't get me wrong, that land costs a little bit more money, as probably a lot of the listeners listening to this understand. Real estate isn't free.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So that's actually kind of one of the challenges that we're trying to take on up front that should alleviate some of these issues later. Also looking at things like like we kind of touched on, noise and just things that come in with the county fair, the lights, those are things that we want to retain in our property and not have a burden to the surrounding community.
Yeah.
So
I think that's so cool that you thought about that.
People that are, trying to put their kids to bed.
Right, to be pissed, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
it's.
I'm glad you brought that up because I will even share, one of the comments I've gotten in Dogwood Festival alone, having it there at the school, guys, we're a huge rich county, but there is a lot of suffrage as well. And
Oh,
people don't
100%.
realize- And so having that carnival almost haunt some of our students or kids in the district that aren't able to participate in that carnival.
Yeah.
So I like this new location because it's literally within 5 minutes from town square. So it's close, but it's not right on top of them, just kind of.
Yeah, because that kind of breaks my heart.
Oh,
I've thought
me
about that,
too.
and I've
Me
heard
too.
some of
When I
that
had someone
too.
bring that up to me
Yeah.
when I first took on this role, and it was like a slap in the face.
Well, I know,
Oh.
his wife Holly and I, we worked in the school district before coming where I am currently, but, we worked hand in hand with kids like that. And we know that, there are kids that will go all weekend without food and they go to school to eat or, not be able to be involved with activities or take advantage of that. So I could see that. I could.
Yeah, and that's that just personally that was like, oh, that'd be great. That's why that's a great spot, and I love the amount of land. I again without knowing all the other fairs, I've only traveled to Laclede and the state fair, but the 60 acres, just to put it in perspective for your listeners, if they've gone to Laclede County, that I believe was 35 acres, right? That
No, I thought it was.
like Cowan.
Well, that includes the whole Cowan
That-
Civic Center.
that includes the whole
Fairgrounds,
Cowan.
I think it was around 15.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
okay.
It's, and it's. They get the job done. Don't get me wrong, but they're parking in the Cowan Civic Center parking lot
and down roads.
So
Yeah, yeah.
So just to be able to provide safe access. I don't want to take my kids, and have to walk down a busy street to get to the fair. I want everything to be safe
Me too.
for them. So
This is all one flat piece of property, mostly flat.
flat as you can get in Camden.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
love it. I love it. So what can we do? What can, myself, other business owners, the community, our listeners that are listening, what can we do to help with this initiative?
To be quite honest, we are at a point, we need money.
Yeah.
We do. We're going to be completely transparent. $3.98 million is what it's going to take to get us completed with phase one. That's getting us the land, all the infrastructure set. That would get us already having future fairs and festivals on site. And, the way I look at 3.98 is a lot of money. I know that. I'm well aware of that. But this would be a great opportunity for maybe someone that wants to leave a lasting impression within this community. We're talking naming rights. That will be an opportunity. And we have discussed, we know that everyone we've talked to, we've presented at several different various events of our plan, and not once have we had someone say, this isn't going to work. I can't believe you're trying this. I mean, everybody is in support. So I think once we get past the land acquisition, because that's our big one. That's what, $480,000, I believe, right?
We need about $500,000 by
to end of June. End of June. So our timeline is coming in.
Yes, and which we know will be a challenge, but really we need people to understand how important this is, how much our kids and community deserve this, and get on board and get traction. Let this gain traction. We don't have a lot of time to get this going, and it seems like another thing. Everybody says, "Oh, there's got to be funding out there for this."
Yeah.
Well, we've worked.
Help us find it, please.
With our legislators. We've worked with state
council, local
state
government,
and
county commissioners. I mean, not that they're not in support. We just got to find a lot more of the money.
Yeah. Well, so if I'm a listener and I did want to donate money or provide that, how would I do that?
So, contact anybody on our board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call me. The number is 573-480-5426, and we will get you in touch with whoever you need to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, that covers the one board member we didn't make mention of, which is Mandy Burns. So she is our
Mm-hmm.
treasurer of our organization, and she's also the assistant treasurer for the county. So she knows how to handle money. She's very trustworthy.
Right. Yeah.
And we do have a Facebook page, which we're getting ready to launch even further. Right now, we just kind of created this outlet, but you can make checks out to CCAYEC or the Long Way, Camden County Ag and Youth Enrichment Council.
Okay.
Every penny counts. It does.
Yeah.
We're working on getting.
Well, let's just remind everybody too. You are a 501c3,
yes.
so that's important.
Tax deductible. Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
We've got that. Just as of last year, we acquired that. So we're ready to take those monies. We're ready to be able to have our supporters be able to file that for tax purposes too. Be able to benefit.
Give back, absolutely.
Exactly.
So, okay, last question. What are you guys most excited about personally when it comes to this endeavor?
Dogwood Festival moving.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits. I could go on for an hour of how this would our community would be so thankful, because all of the negative comments that I get, and believe it or not, once people get a hold of my number, they call me and give me all sorts of advice on how everything should be run. And it's like, now I look back at all of those complainers, it's like, I would have something for that. I would be able to say, look what we were able to do.
Yeah.
Come together, and now we've got...
Well, and look at us trying to do those things.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah. Exactly. I hear you, and we want to do something about it, but we need your help to be able to take care of this.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, really, it's being able to provide these kids with, we've touched on it numerous times, but, for example, when I brought my wife back from Northwest Arkansas to move in this community, what she absolutely loves, there's not many places where I can say, yep, we have the lake and our boat 20 minutes away from our farm. That's awesome. But when we moved back here, Holly goes, why do we always go to Laclede County and Tri-County Fair? Where is the Camdenton Fair? And
I did the same thing.
It blew my wife's mind, that we did not have a fair. And she goes, what kind of county, especially one that, has, it's not a, poor county by any means.
Right.
What kind of county has this much tourism draw, this many people,
right.
and does not have a fair? She could not believe it. She's from Northwest Arkansas, and literally 20 minutes from her house growing up, you could hit 3 different fairs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was very similar for me. I had the same thing. When I got here, I was like, I want to go back to Gardner, that where we were really doing some, ag stuff.
Yes.
So that's what I'm most excited about, is to give these kids an opportunity that they. I'm 31 years old, and I didn't have these opportunities growing up here.
Yeah.
So we had to make our own. So I want to give the kids the opportunity.
Yeah, I do too. I think about the people that make up our community, and in our area, with so many farmers and so many kind of that old school hometown root kind of ethic there. I can't imagine some of those people not wanting to get involved in this, not wanting to help showcase these kids that lifestyle, when our society is pulling us all of these technological ways and all of this go this way into behind a desk seating jobs and all of this, like putting light back into that, because that's literally the infrastructure of our country. Like we need to shed light on it. So
Totally.
We need them career ready.
well, Grow, Thrive, Inspire listeners, we could not be more thankful to Ryan and KC for showing up and walking us through this ag project. I am so excited to help with this project, and I hope you are too. We have more episodes coming, so be sure to tune back in on Wednesdays and like and subscribe to our channels to catch the latest updates. You can find us everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Huge thank you also to our sponsors, Michael and Michelle Lassen with First State Bank Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender. You can find them at yourlakeloan.com. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire, and we'll catch you next time.